as far as graffiti writers were like, cool, you're not going to fucking clean up these streets. Now we're going to give you something to fucking clean up. And they started fucking tagging. And that was while it was rebellion. That was the largest fucking art movement across the entire globe. It was larger than the Renaissance. So you got to understand that hip hop culture birthed an art style and an art form that dwarfs every art style in the United States and an entire globe, period. Breakdancing, hip hop, culture has done phenomenal things for those communities.
So when was that defining point where it become adapting violent languages and foul languages and all that?
Language has always been foul.
Life
is always like a survival of the fittest kind of break on that. So you can sit there and look back and say, like, was it Ice-T doing, was a Cop Killer, but I think that was later on. And NWA came
out in the 80s, right?
This is mid early 80s, but you still had like the genesis of hip hop. You're talking about people like Slick Rick, Rakim, Talib Kweli, Mos Def, Black Thought, fucking the list goes on and on. But those were all MCs who had a positive intellectual poetic drive, right? Like that was.
I like Nas personally. I like Nas.
So, but see, Nas transcends because here's a kid who's in these projects and in the streets who's talking about street shit, but is more intelligent he knows he's trying to get out of that situation. Where you take cats that like Snoop and Dre who fake their bullshit, who were never really truly gangsters but talk all that gangster shit.
But Nas was not more, like you said, Nas was more intelligent. Is that what you said?
Completely. Go listen to fucking Ether where he destroys Jay-Z. Go listen to fucking that track where he spits the fucking verse backwards. Go listen to his entire Illmatic fucking track or album. Go listen to the barbecue freestyle he did. He was fucking 17 when he did that shit. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Like
I'm trying to learn
homie, like there's a difference. There's a distinct difference between hip hop and rap. And you know the difference because you can literally listen to hip hop and know that it's hip hop, and listen to rap and know that it's that rap gutter bullshit. And that rap gutter bullshit is all that mumble crap you hear right now. You can't hear it's unintelligible bullshit. Like, and I'm sorry, I'm getting a little preachy on hip hop, but I love hip hop.
Sorry, Flint, but I'm not sure if it's a personal question, but did your mom ever date a black person?
Nope.
Okay.
We always had black people, like black people, Mexicans, Asians, whites, Irish, fucking everybody was around. That's how I grew up. When I watched Captain Kirk fuck a green alien bitch in the fucking 70s, I stopped giving a fuck about race and creed and fucking religion and all that bullshit.
So your mom did not date a black person, or there's no family member that did that has
Italiano Americano.
Yeah, C.
So I'm just saying, like it's like you got to think, dude. Like if you like jazz, if you like blues music, if you like rock and roll, then you need to think black culture, because black culture fucking created that shit. Yeah. Well, rhythm and blues and souls came out.
Let me ask you this though. Let me ask you this.
Yes, it did. Jazz and blues and fucking.
Okay, Flint. Let me ask you this though. So if black people were not brought from Africa to America, would they be able to create hip hop?
That's an interesting question.
So Western civilization actually contributed to the fact that they created hip hop.
But see, that's like that's such like a circumstantial shit that, like, I don't know, man. I to me it has no relevance because it didn't. It's here. It's what you have to confront now.
Just try to attempt to answer the question. If they were not brought through a slave ship to the Americas, would they be able to create hip hop and rap?
I'm going to say probably, most likely. I mean, eventually in some capacity.
Like what, 1,000 years from now?
Because Anglo-Saxons weren't doing it. The fucking Spaniards over here weren't doing it. The French who were over here weren't doing it. The fucking Hispanic fucking natives and Indian natives weren't doing it. They had
would you say, at least, would you be honest?
Those specific influences, as far as like the soul of the music that comes from blues and jazz and hip hop and rock, that comes from black culture itself, black people themselves. Now, those circumstances that, like, could you say, like, did the circumstances of America speed up that process? Probably.
Not probably,
Would they
definitely.
would they have eventually developed if it didn't happen? Could have.
So
I
at least,
don't see why it wouldn't.
okay, at least you admit that Western civilization contributed for the creation of hip hop and rap.
No, Black America created
You're
hip hop and rap.
self-contradicting yourself. Like you're saying,
No, because white America didn't create it and had nothing to do with it. It had nothing. White America.
so like
That's the
on
problem
one
that you don't
hand,
understand. Like now, if you were to say like graffiti art, I would say that there were plenty of white kids breakdancing and doing graffiti art at the time of its birth. I would hands down because everybody was doing graffiti when it happened. But that straight out stemmed from one graffiti writer who was a fucking black dude named Cornbread. Like straight up, hip hop was created by the black community itself. Straight up,
but like
blues,
it was not created
jazz,
in Africa though. It was
fucking.
created in America.
It doesn't matter. It was created by black, like black people, by black American people. I don't understand how you don't understand that. Like
It's in
that,
English. Rap is in English. You understand? That's an European language.
yeah. At any rate, so as far as your understanding of how hip hop was created, that's where it stemmed from. But did it stem from some things that that already existed? Poetry is fucking hip hop. Shakespeare is hip hop. If you're fucking singing a hymn of fucking Viking old, whatever rhymes that was, that's hip hop. Like in, the idea that it's just like some gimmicky thing is fucking ridiculous. It is literally a culture birthed into itself that has multiple facets, from the jump, that influenced so many other cultures and so many other people from the jump. Like the first time in the 80s, the early 80s, hearing like a lot of those early tracks from KRS-One or Boogie Down Productions or EPMD or whatever, like there was something in that music that was unlike no other.
Yeah, I agree. Hip
Like
hop is an art.
jazz in itself is unlike no other. Jazz is taking 4, 3, 5 people and spontaneously creating something in a freestyle, and it can never be emulated again, but is in rhythm and in contangent with each other in a freestyle of 5, 4, 3, 2 people. Blues music, while was very steeped in obviously dealing with slavery and all the stuff that it came from, that was soulful music that would not have existed without Black Americans, because you know what, white people were not making that shit. They were still ding 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 ding. Like they weren't going nowhere with that shit. The fuck
Do
were
you
they doing with
self-hate,
music?
Flint? I'm
No, I
not
don't
worried.
self-hate. I just understand my history, man. I just understand what fucking happened. I understand all the fucking quirks. I understand who was playing both sides. I understand who was a victim and who had nothing to do with the circumstances they were fucking born into and the situations they have to deal with now. I understand that the system is rigged like a fucking booby trap, and it's not just fucking them, it's everybody. Like the system is not built for fucking, anybody but the elite. So you can sit there and try to fiddle this down with they're crooks and all this shit, and hip hop is violent and blah 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 and all this other shit, and you'd be absolutely fundamentally incorrect, man. Absolutely incorrect.
Oh well, I appreciate your knowledge about this whole thing, and really, I feel like I agree with you on that. Like maybe the original hip hop it has a positive message
No,
and
it's
all
not
that.
if it did. Like that's
Yeah,
what you
yeah.
don't understand, man.
No,
It's like
I'm willing to learn. Like really, I don't know much about this thing,
yeah,
so
you should go back and really research that, because it's not what you think.
my current understanding of it, like that uh, genre is more. It has more violent words. It has become a culture, a subculture
Fuck,
of its
shit,
own. That's what I'm
ass,
saying.
pussy. Are those violent words? Is that violent? Were those did they are you bleeding right now? Were those violent to you? Did they hurt you? Are you emotionally distraught because of those words I just used? Do they hinder your ability to function the rest of your life because those words were used upon you? Or do you hurt them randomly? No, they don't. You put energy in the words you hear. And when you
So
talk
there,
about and
there.
when you talk about a community that has been denied an actual genuine chance to survive and to exist, and you keep fucking with them, and you keep fucking with them, and you keep fucking with them, eventually they're gonna have some cold shit to say to you. And it's unfortunate that you don't like it, but it's because you don't understand it, so you don't appreciate it, and you don't understand how it started. So how would you understand how it exists? See, that's the difference between you and I. I was astutely aware of hip hop when it came out and the culture that existed. Astutely aware when I was growing up. And it didn't start fucking recently. Been around this bitch fucking for several decades now. So I was there when it fucking started. I remember when hearing the first fucking albums, the first records to come out on fucking radio waves and tapes in the 80s, in the 70s. So this
are you
idea,
currently employed, Flint?
Yes, I'm gainfully employed.
Oh, okay.
What, did you think we just sit around on fucking welfare and shit?
Nah, hey,
You think I just sit around? I got food stamps and shit, man. Is that your your other? Oh, because I'm knowledgeable in Black culture, all of a sudden I got to share your same racist tropes that you fucking stereotypes you got to try to fucking put on fucking other people.
My apologies.
I'm just saying, man. There's a lot of assumption on your side, bruh. A lot of assumption.
Anyways, Zulu, you might want to get involved as well. You know what I'm saying?
Zulu's good. He would have jumped in if he needed to.
Yeah. Nah, Flintlock knows more about hip hop than me.
I'm gonna mute for a minute. I'm going to the bathroom.
Yeah.
I'm
big up Flint though. Like I appreciate the knowledge.
I wasn't even born.
I'm only passionate about things I love, dude, and things that raised me properly. And you know, when I look at a lot of things that raised me properly, there's a lot of beautiful tracks and songs in hip hop that raised me in a right way to be honorable and to know those lessons. And I wouldn't have had those without hip hop. So it just pisses me off when people disrespect it. So yes, Mark Smith, I take hip hop very seriously.
Did you see Tim Pool's new video with Alex Jones and Joe Rogan in the same video?
You know what? I caught wind of it, bro. I didn't watch the whole thing. I was gonna check it out, but I can only take so much of motherfucking Alex Jones before I get like irate. like I'm cool with Rogan because like I kind of feel Rogan.
Gay.
Yeah, I don't fucking going to with the kids. I'm just like, oh Jesus, dude, you're gonna get like I'm gonna watch you have a heart attack right now. Like this is like gonna go live right here. Like I like Rogan's approach because it's like, yeah, you can't weasel out on a 15 or a 5-minute soundbite, right? You have to sit there and actually have a 3-hour conversation and really explore the ideas and the things that you say or believe in that context, which news does not do, right? Yeah. So I respect that. Tim Pool,
I don't like him, man.
I've seen him do some shady shit before, right? Like I'm not gonna say like all his information is bullshit, but I call him tinfoil Tim. Because some of the stuff he does say is out of context and isn't fully researched. So I don't really buy him too much, right? And then Alex Jones, we all know about Alex Jones.
Did you see that thing though, that meme where it said that everything Alex Jones predicted actually came true, and there was like a long list up until now with the mandatory, you know what.
So here's the thing. There's a dude, and that's why I was trying to get Sniper and Jeds, and I've been screaming about it, and you guys could probably look it up. I've been screaming about the documentary for a long time, which was that Mike Rupert documentary, the full documentary, the unedited version. He was talking about that shit 12, 13 years ago. Now, Alex Jones' upbringing, while he was based in conspiracy theories, like he was more based in the conspiratorial, like government conspiracy theories and, you know, Bilderberg and shit like that. And then he was kind of on par at that point, right? Like he was kind of like, you know, this is like his early years. And then something clicked. And then it was just all the crazy shit came out. Right, like where it was just the shit he was saying was more crazy upon more crazy upon more crazy. So I don't doubt that there's like little nuggets of truth dropped into, sprinkled into what he says, but Mike Rupert
Do you think
predicted
it's a
it.
show?
Do I think it's a what?
Do you think Alex Jones is a show?
No, I think he's the loud rabid dog that's in your neighbor's yard that just fucking barks all the goddamn time, right? And it just doesn't shut the fuck up.
But why don't they take him out?
That's like Alex Jones. He's in his gate.
But why don't they take him out?
He's in his gate. Think about all the crazy shit that he says. Like, you really think that fucking somebody's going to take a dude seriously who says, "Oh, no, the water is going to turn frogs gay. Like, they're going to turn your kids gay. If you drink the water, it's going to turn." Like, get the fuck out. Nobody believes your shit. Like,
so you're saying that maybe
they're reptilian, they're reptilian overlords, and they're eating babies to sustain their youth. And like, okay, get the fuck out of here, dude. Like,
So you're saying that he's acting eccentric. So you're saying he's being eccentric to protect himself?
There are clips of him. There are clips of him actually saying that what he says is just an act, and some of his stuff is just for the show. So when he says stuff like that,
you mean the deposition, the Sunday Hook deposition? Really?
He's been hit on a couple of interviews. So there was a couple of interviews he had that he had mentioned this, right? So that, to me, like, when you listen to like the producers who were clipped out of the show or who got fired from the show, they've been speaking out recently. There's, I think, a guy who just did an interview. I think it was like a 30-minute interview, maybe 24-minute interview or something like that. But he exposes the shit too, because that Sandy Hook thing just happened. He got sued for that shit, and now he's being held liable for some of it or something like that. And so the people who were around that, so that came out, and so now he's getting hit with that. So I think that's where a lot of that's coming from. So I think there are a few nuggets that he kind of holds on to that are truth, because the government's always gonna, we see the government, dude. We see, like, you follow the Masonic elites and you'll see their pattern. You'll see what they're doing. You'll know where they're going. You know where they're spending money. They're all doing the same agenda. Like, they're pushing the same bills, they're pushing the same badges, they're pushing the same, papers for those badges, yada yada yada.
Like, how did he just stroll it? How did he just stroll into Bohemian Grove?
So this is the weird thing. So I listened to that story, and I got two theories about that shit. Okay, one is he legitimately snuck in that motherfucker and he got in. Two, I think he paid somebody. I think he legit. I don't think it was like his covert. I don't think it was his covert. Like, to me, it's more plausible that he actually saw that shit, because that's something that they do. It's something they believe in. So to say that elites don't believe in,
like, what about the third option, that he's already a part of it though, and he just kind of played his part?
If he was a plant for a Montauk psyop, if he was there to disinform and to misinform in order to throw the population off, I think it was a bad idea, because you only drew more attention to see it, because much more people were paying attention to the actions and the movement of the government at that point in time, when he was just talking about, like, 9/11 shit and Bush movement of finances and the oil. Like, that's when he was like doing his on par shit. Remember that time when he was like, he was always on the Bush administration? Like, that's when I felt like he was kind of more in the reality spectrum. And then right after that, he just kind of, like, I think he just fell off the fringe.
After the Obama shit, the Hillary Clinton, the Trump and stuff, that's when he started going a bit.
That was where he started, but that was the escalation of the insanity. You know what I mean? Like, that was just like like where he just, like, it was a roll. Like when you get to the top of a roller coaster and then all there is just straight down. Like, that was it.
Yeah. Because he's always taken like conservative stance, because prior to the Trump and Hillary debate, he seemed very neutral.
If you listen to what he used to talk about, it was kind of more aligned with, like, like a libertarian conservative, right? Like not a Republican, not a Democrat.
Yeah.
Not like just kind of like in the middle, like you just government, you go just keep the nuclear plants on, keep people from coming over in our borders as far as like, military forces, keep money flowing, you know what I mean? Like keep the roads legit, and everybody should just be able to do what the fuck they want and be left alone. I think that was his stance early on, and then he kind of went like that fringe where he dropped. That's where I kind of felt like he fell more Republican and more on the hard right. You know what I mean? Like, like if you look at like Joe Rogan's progression for his podcast, you can see Joe Rogan's progression of being high liberal, high left leaning Democrat to basing out in a very middle grounded, more common sense, more logical, more slowed pace, like more
Centrist
like how you should exactly. You should kind of think like right there in the middle. Like that's the base to be at. And I think that's the difference, is that you saw how, because Joe Rogan believes in aliens, believes in fucking, all kinds of conspiracy theory shit. So it's the stuff that he discusses is very similar in the topics that Alex Jones talks about, except Alex Jones actually talks to specialists who are involved in those fields and those fucking instances.
But do you think Joe Rogan tones it down? Like even when he's had Alex Jones on the show, he seems very cautious. Like it's as if like even Alex has said before, like Joe knows.
I think he's saying like Alex Jones is cautious, or he's saying Rogan's cautious.
No, Rogan's cautious not to bring in the craziness that Alex Jones does when talking about certain topics, even though he believes.
Did you watch the last one that Alex Jones was on?
No, I've watched it like 4 times.
Okay, the one that when they were in the the Joe Rogan and Alex Jones, and I think it was who's their little homie?
The red studio.
The little dude, the little wrestler guy he hangs out with. Fuck, what is his name?
Oh, do you mean
Eddie Guerrero? Eddie. Yeah, Eddie. He was there. He's a jiu-jitsu guy. He's a fucking
Eddie Bravo. No.
Eddie Bravo. There you go.
That's an old one.
But notice. I know, but notice when he was in that studio before the Texas studio. Notice like how he was kind of like mid ground, and then he escalated. Like then he started getting off the hinge.
Very skeptical.
Yeah,
and Joe was acting very skeptical, always asking him questions.
Well, because I think like, okay. So Joe is like one of those like earthquake meters, that's very sensitive to feeling the unbalance of a conversation. So he's very quick to be able to like slide and move around that, or probe into a conversation, or pull away from a conversation. He's learned that skill. I think when he was seeing Jones, kind of start going off the hinges, because he had to stop him, like stop right there. No, let's unpack that. Hold on, stop. And because Alex Jones is like, hey, and then you gotta worry about the CIA coming out and Greenfold technical, and you're just like, holy shit, dude! Like you're what the fuck? So I think that's why
people are not gonna hear what he's saying; they're just gonna think he's crazy.
And that's why
he has to slow him down to say
he's got to slow himself down, and then he's got to slow his guests down, and then he's got to grade. Okay, how do I play with this Jenga game? You play Jenga, the little sticks, and you got to push them out, and then it gets all wobbly towards the end of the game. Like that's what Joe's working with. He's trying to fucking play that game with a psychopath. So that's why you saw like that conversation de-escalate. I think that's what just happened.
But you know what it is though. But Flintlock, do you know why I criticize Joe Rogan? As much as Joe Rogan does take risks and does, like even now he's against the mandates and he is openly talking about alternative therapeutics.
Right.
But the problem with Joe is, even now, like he's always been very kind of careful and cautious, I guess, because he doesn't want the news and the media coming after him. He doesn't want to basically be Alex Jones 2.0. He wants to try and approach it in a logical. But my point is, Joe Rogan probably knows just as much as Alex Jones, maybe even more, about how deep stuff really is. But because he's afraid that his whole show will get shut down, because the head of Spotify could be like, "Yo, this is too much for us," You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no, that's true. Because the thing about it is, like, there was a I think it was there was 2 interviews that were done. It was Joe Rogan and an ex-CIA guy, and then Valuetainment and another dude about a Chinese economy or something. But those 2 podcasts, I guess China was listening and completely beefed up their cyber warfare, tactics and shit because of those 2 podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Wow.
they talk about some deep shit. Like, when you think about the stuff that Rogan talks about, I think that he's trying to get the information out without getting pulled. So I think he's cautious in that way, because it's like, if you had an ability like he does to spend 3 hours exposing any topic that you wanted with key specialists in every field that you're talking about, and you're talking about controversial shit that the government 98% of the time doesn't want you to hear, you have a strong, powerful voice, right? Like that Edward Snowden episode he did.
Right.
Like that's some shit. Like Edward Snowden doesn't say soft shit. Like everything that fucking Edward Snowden says is hard fucking shit.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for him, in order to make sure people get that information, I got to navigate a teetering totter. I got to balance a little bit. I got to make
Jamie,
sure that I don't.
Jamie, look that up, and make sure that what we're saying is
exactly. But see, you got a guy who's there who's like,
there.
oh, I can fact check that. Oh, I can check that right now. I can cross reference that. Or I can double check and see what the popular opinion upon that is. I can see if that's a factual picture or not. I can see if that's real or not. Like that. News organizations won't do that. Oh, hey, we doing there, Jill? Oh, excellent. Okay, nuclear power plant. All right, in destruction. Okay, bombed. All right. See you later. Bye. News at 11. Like what? Nuclear power plant bombed. What? Like, you know what I mean? Like those news bits go by so fast and they don't unpack shit. That dude's literally unpacking a lot of fucking conversation.
Like what they did. Did you see what CNN did to Joe Rogan about the?
Yeah, I specifically tweeted CNN and Sanjay Gupta about that shit, and I got blocked for 12 hours. So,
did you see the Sanjay Gupta podcast? Oh my god!
Yeah, I watched the whole thing and I got mad, and as soon as it got done, I fucking tweeted that shit out to CNN and Sanjay Gupta, and I was like, I put that clip in there where Joe just eviscerates fucking Sanjay Gupta. And
see, that's the Joe that we need to see more often. Not the one that hides.
I agree.
And that's
I do not disagree with that. I do not disagree with that at all. But I think that's like,
hey guys, yeah. Whenever you're done, like I wanted to ask Zulu a question as well.
Yeah, go for it.
So Zulu,
I was gonna transition to me. You see what he's doing now?